Between the rise of the Kimrog Empire and the tumultuous Demon Wars, there was an enigmatic era. A time when brave souls traversed oceans and continents in search of glory, riches, and power. Let us tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to another prelude of High Adventure Season 2. The cast is here, and this time we're going to have the prelude for Shao Zhen and Cho Zhen. Now, you guys, since the end of Season 1, a year has passed. The brothers Zhen and your fellow Sacurans who survived your shipwreck and the other residents of the island of Nisia have been working hard for the past year. You have been developing the settlement, you have been developing your mining operation, and making connections with some of the homesteaders around Nisia who aren't in town. During that year, it has been a lot of traveling back and forth across the island. On a few occasions, you made your way across the island to your friend Mwangozo's compound, where you were warmly welcomed by he and his family. And Mwangozo has even offered his assistance with some of the activities that you guys were participating in and helping to cultivate as you grew this settlement on Nisia. After a lot of hard work, and the construction of a facility to smelt some of the raw ore and start putting together bricks of silver, you guys have accumulated quite a bit of silver. However, you have had no interactions with any of the other islands, and it seems to you that the folk of Nisia, the people who are fishermen who actually go out into the ocean, never go far away from the coastline. They're always within sight of the coastline. And, as you've lived there now and you have engendered the trust of your fellow Nisians, they've confided in you that they're not safe going too far off the coast. There are many concerns, many dangers about the deep ocean, some of which you know from personal experience. And beyond just mysterious monsters within the sea, there's also the danger of pirates. And something that you have heard time and again is that the Nisians consider themselves fortunate not to be large enough to gain the attention of the pirates. So your entire silver mining operation and everything that you've done to build up the settlement has been done very covertly, intentionally, so that you are not getting noticed. But after a year, your brother Cade has suppressed his curiosity for a long time, but he desires to know more. He wants to see what else is out there. And most importantly, that question that has lingered in the minds of all three of you is, what is the status of your family's holdings on the island of Amron? The original reason why your father sent the three of you and your mother and your sister was to establish a family household on the island of Amron, to claim the land and the holdings that he purchased. So your brother Cade sets out, and using the same wild-shaped form of a dolphin that he had previously when you guys had first washed up on the shore of an uninhabited island, Cade tells you that he's going to explore, but he reassures you that he'll return. So one morning he heads out, and you see him walk out into the water and dives into the water, and a few moments later you see the fin of a dolphin swimming away. Now, from what you've been able to gather, the very limited information provided to you by the residents of Tizia is that they believe Amron is an island in the northern part of the Nicean island region, likely to be north and west of Tizia. But as you have yet to see a map or even know what distance Amron is, you're not sure how long your brother is going to be gone. You're not sure if he's just going for a short, reconnaissance to find out more information, or if he's going to actually try to find Amron. Days go by. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. After 5 days, you've still not heard from your brother. And naturally, you begin to be somewhat concerned, remembering what you were told by the Tizians about the dangers of the deep ocean and pirates and other hazards. On the 6th day, your anxiety about your brother's status has reached a pinnacle. The two of you are in your family's cottage. Your mother is making tea in the kitchen. You could tell that she's worried about your brother, but she's trying to be stoic about it. And it is at this time, as the kettle begins to whistle, alerting you to the fact that the water is boiling, both of you simultaneously hear your brother's voice in your minds. And this is what your brother Cade says.
My brothers, I've met a group of powerful magic users in Sassalam, northeast of Tizia, several days. It's difficult for me to explain the whole story, but our sister is alive. The night of the shipwreck, one of the shark people called the Karsh took the ring we found and our sister. I will continue to look for clues and resources to help us find her. I will be back as soon as I can.
Shao, did you hear that?
I thought it was me. Did you hear that
brother?
also?
What was that? Really, brother?
It sounded like him. Did I turn around? I look at mother, and did she look like she heard something?
The whistling stops as your mother takes the kettle off and begins to pour the hot water into the 3 cups. Your mother seems to have no notice or sense of what you guys just experienced.
I lean over to Cho. Let's not say anything to mother because that would really excite her. But yeah, I don't. Yeah,
we should definitely look into this. I've never experienced anything like that.
Me neither. It almost felt spiritual, like from another realm or something.
As you're thinking this and kind of whispering to each other, your mother, Shao Zhen, comes over and sets forth 2 cups of tea for both of you, and then sits down next to you and begins to sip her tea quietly.
Thank you, Mother, for the tea.
Of course, my sons. I only wish that we had heard from your brother, but I pray to the heavens that he is safe. He says, will you be going to the mines today, my sons?
Yes, I need to check in, I think, to make sure that the day's projects are followed through. And Cho will be doing his errands that he has, and then I will report back midday.
Remember, we have something we need to look into together later, brother.
Well, that is right.
Very well, boys. Be safe. And she continues sipping her tea. After a short time, you guys get up, gather your typical supplies that you would have with you. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I think first step is to head up to the mines and make sure the operations are up and running, and then discuss, I think, me and Shao on the way, what we just experienced. Yeah, I mean, this is definitely good news.
Okay.
I'm very excited that we have Sister back, but I'm still a little cautious.
You guys get a couple of horses and you begin making the ride overland up into the hills. And it takes, even with the horses, it takes an hour to get up there. But you make it in good time. When you arrive, you see that the camp is already at work, already having gotten up at dawn, had their breakfast, and started working. You see, laborers bringing carts of ore down to raw ore down to the base camp. You see the ore being loaded up into sturdy wooden crates, and the crates being loaded up onto wagons. A big part of what took a lot of time to develop was literally carving out safe roads to bring carts down the hills. So you kind of had to cut in and literally excavate to create these winding roads that would safely go down the hills. And this process, typically by midday, the miners have completed their work for the day and loaded the last of the carts so that everybody's able to return to town. And that shift change happens in the middle of the afternoon. And then at the same time, a new crew of laborers comes in the middle of the afternoon. And they typically get settled into the camp, have dinner, go to sleep, get up the next morning and work. So you've gotten this over the course of a year to a pretty well-oiled machine. But when you arrive at the camp and you see all this work happening, you also see a familiar face. About 50 feet away, you see your friend Wangozo. And he's walking over, and he sees you and he waves, from far away, and he starts walking over towards you guys. Good morning, my friends. It is good to see you. Truly a great pleasure.
Good morning, Wangozo.
How fares the brothers Zhen? Now, you haven't seen Wangozo in about a month, so he is not aware of Cade's expedition.
Yeah,
he looks around and he says, "Where is your brother?"
No, brother is away, seeking knowledge, and we should rejoin him shortly.
He looks at you kind of with a little bit of confusion, and he says, "He has left the island?"
We think he has ventured off, not far, we hope, but we haven't heard from him in a few days. So we're a little bit not worried, but cautiously awaiting his return.
Of course. He says, to the north is the island of Sencha. It is not very far, but it is, I think, the closest island with some civilization or settlements. If he has gone to this island, he should be safe, but I would hope that he did not go west, because west is where you would find the pirates.
Have we heard anything of any events outside the normal Tizian fishing expeditions, of interactions or anything like that with anybody?
No. In part of your agreement with the White Furs, they told you that they would keep an eye on the northern coast of Tizia, and also keep an eye out, looking, north out into the sea, to see if there has been any sort of ships coming by. So you kind of get semi-regular updates from them, but nothing where there's been like warnings or any kind of alert about any sort of ships coming near Tizia. Wangozo says, There are other Boreans, my people, who have settled around Nisia. He says, I have not left Tizia because, to me, I have everything that I want here. But if your brother seeks to know more about Nisia, perhaps he has made his way to the larger islands. The larger islands are where you would find more civilization, because they were the first to be developed. He says, Sencha is to the north. But I think that while it would be easier to get there on a larger ship, I think that you could get there on a sailing boat or a fishing ship.
I do think that it is time that we locate him. If we do leave for some days, will you be okay here alone?
Of course. I think that's what you have established here. Your people, they have great solidarity. They seem to be working as one, which is what a community should be. And I will help them if such a need arises.
Quick question. Are we also smelting this ore, or is it in raw form only?
So you have a very small, humble smelting facility that you've built just outside of town, where you're breaking down the raw ore and trying to harvest as much of the silver as possible and then melting it. And you have forms built. You've basically consolidated about 100 bricks of silver so far. But it's been a slow process because it takes up a lot of time and your facility is relatively small.
Do we have the resources with what we have gathered so far to create a more modernized or more expeditiously ability to smelt this stuff to kind of get it going faster?
In time, yeah. I mean, in time you could build and expand, but the access to what you guys have for tools even is pretty limited, right?
Okay.
Like you've had blacksmiths making mining tools and repairing mining tools almost constantly.
Okay.
And in the last year, like the 2 blacksmiths that you had have now trained a bunch of apprentices. But part of that labor and skilled knowledge base is also involved in the smelting operation. So it's really kind of over time you think that the expansion would certainly be possible.
With the conversation that Cho just mentioned, saying us venturing out, is there anything that we need here in Tizia that would help us bring back if we do venture off? Is it to get that ball rolling? We're going to be out there, right, Cho? We're going to be. Is there anything in the northern island that Wangozo just mentioned that can help us?
Well,
more laborers.
That Sencha's not a large island. He doesn't. Okay. He only knows it by secondhand information. He says it's a small island, but it's relatively close to Tizia, and it's probably has the same or even slightly less of a population. But it's a stop on the way to other islands in the region.
Okay. And do we know what it's known for? Is it another fishing island?
That's, to his knowledge, that's pretty much what it is.
Okay.
And have we made enough money to pay back our debts and charter a fishing vessel?
Oh yeah, I would say in terms of credit to Tizia, you are very much in good shape. Overall, the 100 bricks of silver that you guys have managed to put together has been more than enough to cover the costs and to pay off any debts. Now, that said, you don't own 100 bricks of silver. Each one of you probably owns 10 bricks of silver, and the rest of that is basically in the holding of the company that you agreed to be part of, in terms of, you know, the mines and basically Tizia. So that the remaining, you know, the whole hunk of silver that you guys have so far is basically the bank of Tizia right now. It's the backbone of the economy. But one element is missing, which is trade outside of Tizia. So silver's valuable, but, you know, from an economic standpoint, you haven't exported any of this silver yet because you guys haven't made any connections outside of your island.
Yes, we could establish trade routes after we've rejoined our brother.
So one thing again that Wangozo tells you is that while he is not well versed with all of the islands in this region, he tells you that the larger islands are all west or northwest, but that where you are in Tizia, Sencha is the next closest inhabited island, and that, he says, is due north, straight north. So you kind of talk to him for a little while. He reassures you that, you know, everything's good with him and his family and his compound. He and his family have been trading their crops, their surplus crops, with the villagers in Tizia. So it's been a mutually beneficial relationship.
Excellent. Cho, it looks like operations are doing well, and Wangozo has our back here. I would like to stop by the smelter and look at that before we make a decision whether we should go out and look for brother, or maybe send somebody out looking for him, if that's at all possible.
That sounds good, brother. While you're doing that, I will go home and collect some things. I need to spend some time in thought and some time with Mother.
Perfect. I'll see you there.
Okay. So you return to town?
Yeah, is that where the smelters are? Are they
Yeah.
in town? Okay, perfect. Yeah.
You ride back to town. Basically, you know, after checking out everything at the mining operation and talking with Mongozo, and then you ride back. By now it's like noon. Shao, you go to the smelters. You see one of the lead blacksmiths and like 8 laborers are working hard. It's just plumes of smoke, and, you know, there's a bad odor emitted from the smelting process, which is why you built this facility like a half-mile outside of the town. But you go there, it seems like they're doing really well. It's just very labor intensive. And they take a lot of ore, and after it's processed, it's, you know, a very consolidated amount of silver.
Perfect. I'd like to go to the lead smelter guy and basically ask him to create a crest or embossing stamp for the silver with our family's crest on it. And if he can do that to at least, I'd say, 5 bars. I mean, what's that equivalent to 5 bars? I mean, 5 bars, give or take.
The size of the bars and the weight of the bars is such that you figure from an economic standpoint, like each bar is probably worth 100 silver pieces. They're not huge bricks. These are, you know, manageable size. So, and that's why over time, this will be worth quite a bit, you know, as the mining expands and more expansion of the smelting facility, you'll be able to increase the production.
Okay. So I asked him to do that for me for the 5. So 500 silver is adequate enough to be able to, you know, purchase things and have, you know, transactions.
I mean, you could you could probably carry, 10 of, you could carry your 10 bars of silver, in a small wooden case with rope straps and sling it over your back.
Yeah, I want to travel light. So 5 is, so I'll take 10 total, 5 for Cho and 5 for me after he's done stamping. And then I give him an order, or at least a suggestion, stamp every single one after that with this logo so we can track it.
He
If
tells
that's
you
at
that
all
he can
possible.
only do that for your inventory.
That's fine.
He says the lady has already requested that the town council is going to be discussing creating a seal of Tizia.
Perfect. Okay, that's fine.
But that's sort, they have like some designs, and there's been debates about what it should look like, that sort of thing. But
Okay.
he tells you that he can do, a kind of a simplified version of your family's symbol.
Okay.
And you, in fact, maybe already in the course of this last year, maybe you already had one of the Sacurans, design, sketch out, and create a stamp that would work for that. So I'll say that that task is already completed. It seems like that could be something you could have done during the downtime. Shao, you return to your family's house. You see your mother taking a nap. What do you do?
While she's napping, I'll start packing some things, because I do feel that a journey is imminent, whether brother agrees or not at this point.
Okay.
I feel like what we both experienced was either our brother or something unexplainable that needs to be looked into. So I'll start packing my things, gathering my, my backpack, my clothes and weapons and things, anything that I have that I can use with my, maybe some light disguise stuff, maybe some makeups, some, whatever I can collect from the house.
All right. I'll say, in addition to your normal adventuring supplies, you pack a bag with additional rations and some of the makeup supplies, some of the disguises that you have in your kits, some extra clothes, that sort of thing, for something that would be considered more of an extended trip. When Shao gets back, likewise, I'm assuming, Shao, you pack some extra rations and traveling supplies and extra clothes.
Sure. And I give brother Shao his 5 bars of silver. That way we can spread the weight.
Okay.
We're not encumbered.
Okay.
But I would like to, just one more thing, if I can, sit down and meditate, because I feel like this ominous voice from brother has kind of like sparked something in me that I need to contemplate this at a higher level. And I think I go to my room and I seeing if I can connect again and somehow spark this, maybe make it two-way or somehow spiritually or
so we come to our first roll. Time to make a willpower plus magic roll. So you have 6 dice.
Oh yes.
And you're going to want to roll really high, because you have mental magic at level 2. So to be able to communicate telepathically over a long distance is a higher difficulty.
Okay. I rolled a 15.
Okay, so you go into this deep meditation and you enact the mind link, knowing that you heard your brother's voice in your mind, but also knowing your knowledge through this meditation. You learn several things. Number one, you learn that however your brother communicated with you, he must have had some help. He must have had some help, and the reason why you believe this is because as you reach out, a 15 is high enough, but just barely. You can send a one-way message to your brother, a short telepathic message to your brother. Now, you remember in his message that he referenced a place. He said Sacuran. What he didn't mention was if that was the name of a town, a village, a city, or a whole island. But you remember him mentioning Sacuran. So as you meditate upon this, you can send him a one-way message. What would you like your message to be?
Man, that's hard.
And in honor of Dungeons & Dragons, I'm going to limit it to 25 words.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'll let you construct your message. Smash
Okay.
cut to Cho. Your brother's meditating in his room. Cho, what would you like to do during this time?
I go in and I actually want to meditate as well. But I want to check on Mother, make sure she's still sleeping before I do so. And I will go back into my room, cross my legs as I sit on the floor, and prepare for the road ahead.
Is there anything specific that you're seeking insight on?
Seeking insight to the message that Brother sent us. Was it real? Were we in some sort of group hallucination?
Do you wish to seek insight through your mark of rebirth?
I do. The thing that we all share.
Okay. Make a willpower plus magic roll. Okay. As you contemplate your brother and the fact that all of you have your Sacuran mark of rebirth, and you think about the connection that you have with your brothers, suddenly your mind is connected. And you feel like this connection is not just between you and Cade, but also you feel connected to Shao. Shao, as you're contemplating the message that you're going to send to your brother, you begin to send this telepathic message to Cade. What do you say to Cade?
Brother, are you at Sacuran? How we get there? How far are you from us? We are coming.
Cho,
19.
Cho and Cade, you both hear Shao Zhen in your mind. Cho, you hear your brother Shao sending this message, and because of your Zen mind link, you can tell that he's sending the message to Cade. Cade, you are in the port city of Sacuran, and suddenly you have a mental connection with your brothers. You hear your brother Cho first asking questions about Sacuran, asking how they get there, how far is it, and we are coming. But then you sense the mental connection between both of your brothers, and you are now free to communicate with each other.
Brothers.
Postscript, Cho minus off 8 qua, Shao minus off 6 qua.
Gotcha.
All right, brothers, you are mind linked. Cade, what do you say in response to your brothers?
Shao, can you hear me? I'm trying to mind link back, or I don't realize, I think for mind link that I can send it back, but I'm trying to speak with him. Can you hear me, Shao?
We all can speak freely.
Oh, wow.
This is bizarre. Where are you? What is going on?
Don't
to answer your
question,
question,
just go along with it.
I'm in the port city of Sacuran. It's west, I believe, of Tizia. 2 days. It took me 2 days to get here. It's a part of the larger island. I'm unsure if you guys could make it up on one of the smaller boats of Tizia. That's why I said I would come back. There are dangers, of course, and one of those dangers is there seems to be a pirate fleet of a fleet of admirals of pirates operating out of another large island west, and they could easily overtake any small boat.
Shao, sorry, what was the name of the island just north of us?
Sasalam, brother, Sasalam.
No,
that's not the island.
Oh,
that's the port city on the island. Damn it. I'm trying to bring up my map now.
The name of the island. Well, you would know the name of the island.
Kamenep. Yeah, the large island that I'm on where Sasalam is located is Kamenep. But you have to watch out. If you go west too far, you'll run into Vogam, which is where all the pirate fleets are located.
Vogam.
Yeah. So if you head northwest at like a diagonal angle, you'll run into Kamenep, and then you'll eventually run into Sasalam, which is like on the northern east position of Kamenep.
Do we know where we can, if the vessels here are not in Tizia are not large enough to get us all the way there, is there a midway point where they will have larger vessels that we could reach?
There's some islands in between there that are not on my journey. I ran across 2 different islands, but there was no civilization there.
Cade, you having seen a map,
yes,
you know that there's an island due north of Tizia that you actually bypassed because you kind of went straight northwest. But if they went straight north to Sencha, and then from there perhaps to Halri, that they could get a ship to Sasalam.
Okay. Or vice versa, I could travel myself. I kind of have semi-access to a ship. This is like meta talking, because of the ship that Captain Elysia has borrowed.
Yes. Now they are in Saphir, which is the port city south.
Yeah.
So
we could use that as they try to go towards wherever their destination is. Unless she's gonna go straight to Captain Edwards.
Cade, no, she's not. Because that was, first of all, she doesn't even know where that island is.
Yeah. Right.
She was waiting to hear back from you and the other.
From us.
People. However, you do remember Captain Elysia telling you that south of Kamamep is Kuop Vogam, which is the autocracy where the admirals rule. And that the admirals are basically a pirate fleet that have established
super dangerous,
like
super
a government on that island. So you feel like her sailing from Saphir to Tizia would be
too close.
A very dangerous route.
Yeah. She would need to go back north and then like over to be safer.
Now with that said, another option is that if she were to travel the coast back to Sasalam, and then you were to go to Halri, you could meet your brothers in Halri, or she could try to sail to Sencha. But you don't know if Sencha
has
a harbor.
You know what?
Doesn't mean that she couldn't throw anchor.
Yeah,
a few hundred
got rowboats.
Right. So those are all options that you think would be safer than her going directly from Saphir to Tizia.
I think I have another option, perhaps, because I know now a little bit more the extent of my abilities. I could just fly or swim back myself. Even if one of my new companions wants to come, I could just extend my abilities to them, and we could just travel that way.
That would get you and someone else back to your brothers, but then how do you get your brothers to this island? So the question is, you guys are mind linked together, is ultimately, what do you want to do and where do you want to go?
Right.
You know where Amron is now, Cade.
Yeah.
And you're a lot closer to Amron than your brothers are.
My brothers, this is, to me, it's a miracle that we can even talk like this, but I don't know if we have the power to maybe reach out to one more person because as I told you in my message, that I looked through powerful magic into the past and told you that our sister it seemed like she had been kidnapped.
What?
Do you think we could reach out to sister?
Sister. I don't even know how this is happening right now. Who's connecting us?
Sister too has the mark of rebirth, which I was focusing on when I reached you two.
Maybe we could reach out to that mark.
Point of clarification. Your 15-year-old sister does not have her mark of rebirth. That is something that she would acquire when she's 18, as all Sacuras do. It's kind of like your ability to vote.
Yeah, but I mean, with this new abilities that we seem to have, and then I sense that it's my brother Cho establishing this connection? Can I sense that?
You don't have mental magic, so you're not sure how this is happening. But the first voice you heard was Shao.
Right.
And suddenly your ability to communicate with both of your brothers, you're not sure how that happened.
Okay. Yeah, just trying to work through it. I feel like it's one of you two or both of you had established this mental connection with me. Perhaps you could reach out to sister. I know I don't possess this type of magic, if you will, mental magic.
Do you sense that sister is at harm's way, or is she? In what state is she?
I don't know if I could extend my spiritual senses to try and not talk to my sister, but reach out to her spirit to locate her and see if she's even alive.
You could try.
I would love to try, Bill.
Okay, go ahead and make a willpower plus magic roll.
Okay. All right, here we go. I'm using the dice roller. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 21, good sir.
The best that you could do would be to find a spirit, a denizen of the spirit realm.
Okay.
And request that spirit find your sister. Now, with a 21, I'll say that you are able to favorably find a spirit who would be willing to help you. But that this would take time. Because all the spirit has to go on is your sister's name and maybe a physical description of her. The spirit doesn't know where she is or anything else.
This is a super meta, but if I theoretically upped my spiritual magic, would I be able to have access to a better spirit or better, I don't know, better chance of...
I mean, with spiritual magic 4, you can basically...
No, 3.
Right.
I could only go to 3.
Yeah, so direct connection would require... It's possible, but with 3, you could communicate a message directly.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also the fact that you don't know where she is.
Right, because the spirit would have to look, obviously.
Yeah. So the other thing is, and this is meta, but it's so that you understand the mechanics, is that you don't have any spatial magic.
Right.
So spatial magic coupled with other types of magic allow you to transcend distance.
Right.
So that's your thought. Now, back to the quandary of where you are versus where your brothers are. You happen to know someone who has a strong ability with
I have allies right now.
spatial magic.
Yeah, I'm with allies.
And yes, and you feel like, although you've only gotten to know them very recently,
right? I could ask a favor.
You feel like the wizard Humphrey is probably the most adept when it comes to that. You feel like his mastery of spatial magic is such that if you asked him to facilitate the movement of your brothers from one location to another, he could probably do that.
Oh, okay.
If you just wanted to basically teleport your brothers, that's something that he could probably do.
Yeah.
Now, with that said,
yes,
all of those choices, all those options
are on the
ways
table.
of meeting up, all those ways of travel are all on the table. It's about choosing which path you want to do.
Now that I have all these thoughts occurred, speaking to my brothers, I say there's a few options that we could utilize. I do have I made a friend out here. She's a ship captain, and she has access to a very large, pretty large ship. It would take some time to get a hold of her and facilitate a route. But we could come get you or meet you halfway at the island of Sensha, which is due north of Tizia. Another option is some allies I've met recently here in Sasalam. They're quite powerful. Maybe if I asked one of them, he could magically bring you here in the blink of an eye.
Is it safe, brother? Traveling by magic?
He's a master of his craft. He is very well skilled. I think it would be safe.
But if I roll a bunch of ones, it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be shit.
Then I'm going to randomly teleport your asses somewhere.
Some random place.
Shao, I'm going to come out looking like a noodle.
It's not like half my body going to go one way.
It's not without risk. I say in character, it's not without risk, brother. But he is quite skilled.
Huh. I feel that we need to do something, and I think we need to get together and get to sister. I think this is the missing link now that can connect and unite the family, and that gives us the ability to travel again and get to where we need to get to. I am up for taking the challenge. Cade, let us know what we need to do to prepare.
And I leave travel arrangements to our eldest brother.
Gather your supplies and tell Mother, don't leave her in the dark.
Tell her everything.
Tell her that you're going to come to me. Tell her what you think, but don't.
Thrilled to know that you're
fine. Just don't leave her don't just disappear on her. We don't want to do that to her.
Agreed.
All right, the mind link is still active. So
how do we hang this phone up?
How do we hang up the party line?
So because of your high roll, you can extend the duration, right? So that basically means you can have this active for the next 8 hours while you're doing other stuff.
Yeah.
Might as well stay together while we're not together.
Yeah.
So
it's active.
You basically go over to your mother. She, when you kind of go in the room, she sort of blinks her eyes open and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry, my son. I just laid down for a short moment to take a nap. I must have slept longer than I thought."
Fine, Mother. We have good news, and some not so good news. Which would you like first?
She says, tell me all of the news.
Well, fine. Your middle son is alive and well, and we are going to meet with him, which is the bad news. We'll be leaving for some time.
She says, he's alive and well. That's good. It's good that you're going to meet with him, but where?
He is in the city of Sacuran.
City? Is it
Port
far?
town. It is far. It is quite a journey we will undertake, but we are in good hands.
She says, well, my sons, I trust you. You are men of conviction, and above all, that my sons are together is a blessing from the celestial heavens. You will return, though, yes?
We will. We have some business to attend, and then we will return right away.
She says, if you are going to a city, perhaps there is also a way to find a ship that's going to Sacura, or to that island, the island of Amron, where your father has our family's holdings. Yes?
That is correct, Mother. That is the business, some of the business we will attend.
This is good, my son. And she stands up, she comes over and she hugs you. She goes out into the living room. And she basically checks your bags and Shao's bags to make sure that you have enough food and water and extra clothing and undergarments. And after making sure that you're properly equipped, she embraces both of you. She says a prayer to the Celestial Emperor to watch over you, to unite your family, and to bring good fortune. And she lights a candle, and she says, be wise in your endeavors, my sons. Think of all that you have accomplished, and remember the strength of our family resides in you. She says, I have always been and will always be proud of you, my sons. May fortune smile upon you as you reunite with your brother. And may destiny bring us all together where we should be.
Well said, Mother.
I will pray for you every day in your absence.
You will not be far from our thoughts as well.
And she bows to both of you. So you guys leave the house with all of your stuff.
Where do we do this that we stay conspicuously out of the eyes of everybody? You can disappear.
Precisely. I'm assuming you're not just gonna walk out of Main Street and be like, "Good night," ping, and just disappear. So I'm assuming by now you guys know the surrounding area more than well enough. I mean, you know it very well, and you know that to the south of the town, past the smelting area, is kind of open grasslands before it gets to a mountain range and some forest. So you walk for, maybe a half an hour, and there's no one around. With your mind link still active, while you're walking, Cade, you, having contemplated this route, you go to speak to Humphrey.
Yes.
In the intervening day since you guys left the well, Humphrey has taken up a suite at one of the inns in Sacuran.
Yeah.
And it is the Oak Grove Inn. It's
Okay.
the finest inn in Sassalon. So you go over to the inn, you go up to the room, to his suite, which is at the end of a hallway. You knock on the door. Humphrey greets you, almost like kind of looking surprised. He's wearing very comfortable robes, and you see that there's like a table set out with food and drink as it's, around lunchtime, and he welcomes you in.
Yeah.
What can I do for you?
My friend, I see you've found the best inn in town and have relaxed quite well. I'm glad.
He says,
glad
yes.
we're all doing
Don't get
well.
me wrong. The Slow Deer Tavern did have incredible food, and I commend your entire culture. Really, truly wonderful food, the Sacuran food. But I felt like I needed some time after all the crazy adventures that we'd had to just relax and have some quiet time to contemplate things. But what can I help you with?
I have a favor to ask. You know of my two brothers that we saw in my memories.
Yes.
And I understand you are a master of a certain kind of magic. I still am trying to understand myself, but do you think you could bring them here?
Yes. I mean, if you're willing to let me use your mind as a conduit so that I can find them. He says the first step is making that connection mentally. The second step is using my spatial magic, finding where they are. And the third step is bringing them here.
Yes. I'm actually currently mind linked with both of them right now.
He says, oh, well, then it should be relatively easy. He says, let me just make a roll. All right, so the first roll is an 18, which is more than sufficient.
Drum roll, drum roll.
You guys are walking towards this, kind of uninhabited area of Tizia, and you're in the mind link, and it's been kind of quiet because Cade told you that he had to go find this wizard. And then you hear a voice in your head in the mind link, and it says, well, hello, Cade's brothers. I'm Humphrey.
Well met.
Yes, well, we'll meet
Humphrey.
momentarily. He says, if it's not inconvenient, I'd like you to stand still for a moment, and I'm going to bring you to my hotel room so you can see your brother. I love a good reunion. Then maybe after that, we'll go over and have some good Sacuran food.
Can we please take one quick pause? There's something I want to attempt before we leave Tizia.
Sure.
I go thinking about how the connection occurred earlier. I go into deep thought about Mungoza, and I want to see if I can. I know where we just saw him, but I want to talk to him really quick before we leave. So I would like to attempt, not knowing what I'm doing, obviously, but knowing that I felt some type of thing before I connected with the brothers. As I was thinking on them and thinking about the mark and thinking about, us being together. I'd like to do the same thing in thought. And I know you guys are here with me, so we will all be with Mungoza together momentarily, if that's a thing. If
Party
not,
time.
it would have to be a separate thing. If it's a separate thing, that's fine too, because I think I have 4 ability spots, I can do 4 things at once, or whatever. Meta. This is all meta right here. But I'm
You
just
can
saying.
concentrate. You're basically gonna bring him in on the party line, bro.
No, I'm not going to bring him in on the party line.
While we're in meta, I just want to tell you what popped into my brain. I was like, damn it, I should have thought of this ahead of time and then brought in a special guest to be Mongozo. I didn't think, why would I do that? All right. So
You have no idea.
So Cho, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna make another roll for your mental magic. So your willpower plus your mental. Tell me what that result is.
23.
Now 23.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, so to be clear, this is an effect, not a spell. So because basically it's not quite the spell that you were used to, but you're trying to add somebody to the party line, so to speak, right? So you are successful. You add Wangozo to the party line.
Wangozo, can you hear me?
I
This is Shao.
can hear you in my mind. How is this possible?
I am not quite sure, but as soon as I know, I will inform you on our return. I only have one thing to ask of you, a request if I may.
Yes, what is it?
Our mother is alone now, and I would like for you to check in on her from time to time.
He says, my friend, as you well know, family is the most important thing. He says, I will not only commit to this, but I am honored that you would consider me. Rest assured that your mother will be safe. I will check in on her frequently, and should the need arise for any reason, she will be brought and taken to my home with my family. Your mother will be safe. I swear this on the souls of my ancestors.
She loves tea and flowers in the window.
He says, this is not a problem. There is more than enough room amongst my family for your mother, my friend. Be well.
I am
Rest
grateful.
assured that she will be safe.
Disconnect from the party line, baby. I don't want to extend that one. Is it possible to not? Because we might have thoughts that he don't need to know about.
Yes. At any time you could do that. So once Wangozo is disconnected, Humphrey says,
what did that one cost me? Sorry.
That was six qua.
Okay.
Humphrey says, well then, if your affairs are in order, I think we're ready to proceed.
Proceed, sir.
He says, you might want to close your eyes if this is your first time going from one place to another. It can be a strange experience.
Yep.
You guys stand, you can hear the sound of the wind blowing through the tall grass, the smell of fresh air, a little bit of a hint of the ocean breeze, and some of the cool mid-afternoon air blowing across the open fields of tall grass. And then you don't smell that. Cade, as you are standing next to Humphrey, you see him close his eyes. And then you blink once, and the moment you open your eyes, you see your brothers standing in Humphrey's hotel suite. Shao and Shao. You see a tall, fair-skinned man. Kind of looks like some of the Iraqi fellows that you've come to know on Tizia. Wearing like a lavish but comfortable robe. And you are in basically a well-appointed room. The furnishings look nothing like what you would get used to in Sacura, but nonetheless, you sense that you're in like a proper place. And you see your brother Cade smiling at you.
My brothers, welcome to Sassalam. And I embrace my brothers.
Journey. Quite the journey indeed. It's good to see you, brother.
You too, Cho.
The tall white man looks at you all and he says, I am Humphrey Humblebottom. And he bows to you. And he says, and it's been my pleasure to come to know your brother Cade in the last few days. He was instrumental in the success of our party, being able to rescue a very dear friend of ours named Alyssa from the spell of a very powerful and dark wizard. But I'll let your brother tell you about that.
Sounds like stories for the campfire tonight.
He
Very
says,
much so.
There will be no campfire, my friend. You are in a city. He says, and let me tell you, as from what I've gathered from your brother, it sounds like you guys have been in a very small settlement for quite some time. He says, my friends and I, too, were, prior to coming here, also on an island where the most lavish accommodations were tents for weeks. So to be in a city, for me, is a wonderful thing, and I'm sure that you will all enjoy it. It seems like a very nice port city, and we might be staying here for a little while. So he says, if you have need of anything, please, don't hesitate to ask me, but also don't bother me after 9 p.m. I like my sleep.
Thank you, Humphrey.
So, Cade,
he shakes
have
hands
accommodations
with you, Cade, and he escorts you guys to the door. You guys walk down a hallway, down 2 flights of stairs, and again, as you're walking in this building, it's almost surreal. This is the first time you've been in anything more than a 1-story cottage or shack in over a year. And everywhere you look, like this building is fully furnished. As you get to the main level, you see that it opens up to a huge foyer and a big dining room, and you see all sorts of people in the dining room. Mostly fair-skinned, maybe some tan-skinned people. A lot of Iraqis, people from Iraqazine is what you surmise. And you walk out the door of this inn with your brother Cade, and you see a city, a proper city, for as far in every direction as you could see. Buildings, 1-story, 2-story, 3-story buildings. People, hundreds of thousands of people just moving about in the city streets.
My brothers, welcome to Sassalam.
I reach over and grab Cade and bring him in tight. It's time for a drink.
I know
Yes,
just
brothers.
the place. I know just the place. I
Let's
take him
drink
to,
then.
I believe it's the Slow Deer.
That's it. That'd
Oh,
be the
dear.
one. Your brother begins walking through the streets, leading you through Sassalam. You're just blown away consistently, block after block, as you see shops and inns and craftsmen and street vendors. You see taverns, people playing music, people singing and dancing. You pass by this central square with a huge, stone fountain, and people are playing music all around the square, and there's street vendors and just smells and varieties of things. You see other people too as you move through the city, people of different complexions. You see a few Sacurans every once in a while, not many. You see Boreans like Wangozo, dark-skinned people. You see tan-skinned people. You see fair and pale-skinned people with blonde hair. Some of which look like, the Kronai who you met in Tizia, people from Iraqazine. And you just see this huge swath, this mix of different people milling about. You make your way across the town, and you can smell the smell of the sea in the air, but you're not close to the harbor. And as you approach this block, you see a modest building on the corner that it's built from wood, but you see something familiar. The roof of this building is pitched in a way that reminds you of Sacura. It's a Sacuran roof with clay tile roof, and the color of the wood is painted like a vibrant red, much like what you would see in Sacura. You go to this inn/restaurant, and you see a wooden sign of a deer with 2 arrows sticking into it. Cade, as you walk into the Slow Deer, you walk in and you're eagerly greeted by the innkeeper. He sees you, and seeing your brothers, he looks at you and he says, "Well, good afternoon, sir. It is wonderful to have you back." He says, "Are Are these friends of yours, that Sacurans?
May I introduce my two brothers, Shao and Cho?
He says, oh, it is an honor, gentlemen. Thank you. And this, by the way, this guy is just like a normal looking Iraqi man, fair skinned, like brown hair with a little bit of gray in it, kind of bald on the top. He says, welcome. It is truly a pleasure to have you. He says, please let me bring you to a table. And he takes you over to a table, and there's maybe like 20 people seated at different tables around the dining room. He seats you guys and he says, with your permission, he says, I would be honored to let the chef know of your arrival.
Yes, please.
And he smiles and he nods and kind of walks off into the kitchen.
Are we all sitting down at a table? And
yes. So you guys are all sitting down, and what hits you first as you sit down is the smell. Then you look around at the tables and you see that these people are eating Sacuran food. You see rice, bowls of rice and bowls of noodles and vegetables and meats, and the smells of the spices are like a punch to your face. Like it's a immediate flashback to your homeland. And a few minutes later, you see a Sacuran man, an older, like bald Sacuran man, come out with like an apron around him. And he comes over to your table. In fluent Sacuran, he says, gentlemen, it is truly an honor to have you here at our establishment. Thank you so much, he says. Truly, I am honored to meet the brothers of Gozen.
And in Sacuran, I reply back, we thank you for your hospitality and your praise.
He says, I hope that you have strong appetites. He says, I am going to make you something very special.
More than you know right now.
He says, but I think you will be pleased to have something to drink to celebrate this reunion of your family. He says, yes. I will have them bring over a bottle of our finest rice wine. He bows to you 3 times, and then he walks back into the kitchen. A moment later, a server brings over 3 cups and a kettle of tea, and then 3 more cups and a bottle of rice wine. You guys then spend the next hour and a half having like a 4-course meal and multiple drinks repeatedly into the afternoon. At the conclusion of which, Cade, I'm assuming you were going to pay for this meal.
Yes.
Which you may then do for the tiny sum of 5 gold pieces.
Yep.
You guys are very well fed, and you have a nice buzz going, and above all, that was the best meal that you've had in over a year. Other than the sumptuous feast that you had at Mwangozo's, which is a close second to having the food of your homeland. It is the mid-afternoon, and you are in Sacura, the bustling city that rarely sleeps. What would you like to do?
I'd like to look around and see if I can find an Assassin's Guild.
Ooh.
Well, that's going to be a little bit of an activity. How about I ask Shao and then Cade, what are you going to do?
Go ahead, Shao.
I start speaking to Cade about what he has found out about this bustling city and how can we take advantage to further our family's prospects. And I lean over to him and I say, I brought some silver with us from our operations, and I take one out and I show him, and then show him the crest on there of the family crest, and say, this is what we've been working on. And Tizia as well has started to form their own monetary marking so they can mark their shareholds of silver ore that we're mining. So if we can maybe perhaps establish something here and find out a ship and help sister with a question mark.
Yeah.
Looking at him directly to see if he will divulge some more information about sister.
Is Cho still with us, or has he gone off and done his thing?
I'll say that you're talking. This is stuff that you could be talking about while you're having your great feast.
Right. Okay. Great. Because
So
I didn't want to
Joe's
like.
still there.
And we're
say
still
without
mind
him.
linked, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we are actually. Let me try to explain this as best I can, my brother. So you met one of the people I was working with this past few days, Humphrey, and there were a few others as well. All powerful people in their own right, some of them using magic as well, some not. And God, so much happened. I met them while investigating a large ship that I thought had been involved in some sort of slave trade, but it was actually something even more dire. The powerful wizard that Humphrey mentioned, his name was Captain Blackthorn. He had been kidnapping people and using them as magical fuel. He's stealing, like siphoning their spirit to fuel a ritual that would let him travel across to another world. I'm still not very sure, but he was trying to take with him some sort of creature, a magical creature as a weapon. We defeated him, thankfully, though we did not kill him, but we did defeat the ritual. He left back home, but he did not take that creature with him. But before all that happened, that battle, myself and the others were investigating on that ship that we met at, and through the magic of the other people, we were able to look back into the past and through my memories, and not just through my memories through how I see them, but from a third person perspective. They were able to look around, and while we were looking through my memories of the night of that shipwreck where we fought that sea creature, I saw the Karsh, those shark people, taking sister away, and they had the ring that we had discovered with her.
Very interesting. And do you feel that we're going to be able to get to sister without provoking bodily harm to her? Have you thought of a way to get to her?
I don't know where she is. I just know that from that memory, and that when I saw that, I was shocked and speechless, but that gave me the first indication that she could still be alive, and perhaps we can find her spiritually or mentally, how we connected ourselves. I'm not sure. Or maybe we could ask for help from Humphrey or the others, but to like try and locate her, and perhaps we could find her.
If the shark people took her as an offering to the wizard, how do we know if she's even still got her essence? If she's still alive?
The shark people and the wizard are not connected as far as I know.
Well,
that those are two separate things, to my knowledge. But while dealing with the wizard that I spoke of just the other day that we defeated, there was no involvement of the Karsh, and honestly, it was more shocking to find the involvement of the Kimrog. One of a real Kimrog was there at the ritual site, which was under.
Seen in how long?
I don't know, but we encountered one underneath a building here in this town of Sassalam. There was a stone, much like something I've seen only once before, but it was enormous. And inside that stone was a well of some sort, and down there was where they were performing this ritual.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Point of order.
Yes.
As you as you most astutely pointed out, Shao, when you asked the Kemrog, how long has it been since they have been seen? Go ahead and make a willpower plus history roll.
One. Okay, good.
We got one.
Actually, Cade, I'll say Cade, you can make that roll too.
Okay, let me look at my dice. What was it?
Willpower plus history.
Willpower plus history.
13.
So that's gonna give me 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So Cho got a 13.
Also a 13.
Okay. To the best of your limited knowledge of history, you think that it's been like probably about 1,600 years since the Kemrog
and
invasion.
do I know that they were pretty a violent species and
well,
pretty deadly?
so this is what the degrees of success in this game, especially for knowledge checks, right? If you'd rolled really high, you'd learn more details. But based on what you got enough to be successful. You had to beat a 12. So you guys would know that about 1,600 years ago was when the Kemrog began their invasion of Sacura, which lasted for, you're not exactly sure, more than a few decades, but less than a century. But what you do know, because it's a point of pride for all Sacurans, is that Sacura repelled the Kemrog invasion. The Kemrog invasion of Sacura failed. But that took place about 1,600 years ago.
Maybe it's probably meta, but like, since we're still like mind linked, could I project the image of the Kemrog that I saw to my brothers?
Yes, you can.
And I'll attempt to do that, and I say, my brothers, this is what it looked like. They had the face and like skin of like a lizard. It was so strange, but this is the one that I saw, and we battled.
You put him in the ground, brother.
I don't think we did, though. He teleported away, if I remember right.
He escaped.
Yes. I was told he escaped. I experienced something else during that battle. I flew through a portal and met what I now know as, I believe it's a Nizok, though.
Correct.
I met a Nizok, and he was on a bridge of some sort. But I believe he was like a gatekeeper of some or something to different worlds. And that's where the Captain Black
of Tizia.
And the Captain Blackthorn, I learned, was a wizard from a different world. He came to ours, and he departed through one of those portals and went home without his prize. So he's no longer in our world anymore.
That doesn't mean that he's prevented to coming back. It sounds like this person is determined to do whatever he set out to do.
I have no idea, but the Nizok told him he couldn't leave with the weapon, and his magic was useless there, so he couldn't harm me or the Nizok. So I don't think he could. I don't know if he could come back, but I don't think he could take what he wants to take with him.
And this stone, you said you've seen it before?
I'm going to continue the rest of this conversation on the party line, so I'm not speaking it out loud.
Okay.
This is the point of order. My brothers, what I'm going to tell you, I had promised not to tell anyone. And I don't even want to tell you right now because it's something I had promised. But
is this pertinent enough, not to discomfort you, brother, but is it something pertinent to helping us achieve getting sister back and moving on? It sounds like we have a lot of elements that we need to achieve: commandeering a ship, crew, going back to Tizia, getting Mother, and then getting to wherever our next destination is to find Sister. There's a lot of things that we need to do, and it sounds like we need to be expediting this.
Yes, but I feel it's important enough to tell you. Remember when we were we had encountered the White Furs and that adventure? Well, after everything was said and done and we made the treaty, the White Furs brought me back to the mountain because I believe you may remember they were protecting something.
Yes.
And they showed me what they were protecting, and it was a stone, just like the one that I encountered here, except it was of a different variety of some sort. It wasn't the exact same stone, but a stone of that magnitude.
And these stones are powerful energy stones, of spiritual stones.
Did I ever roll a check, Bill, to like understand what they were? Like did I know that they were called godstones and things like that?
I mean, you heard the rest of the party referred to them as godstones.
As that.
You remember?
Okay.
You remember Durant?
Yeah.
Seemed to have like a little broader knowledge of this stuff because perhaps he had studied. And at one point he said that they might have also been known as the Tears.
Right. Okay. One of the other people I was working with, a friend of Humphrey's, referred to them as Godstones or the Tears. And they even had several tears themselves, but only in a very small form. And I hold up my hand, a small sphere. And they were of different varieties as well. One of them similar to the one that the White Verse has, but obviously just a small ball sphere of that. But anyway, that was where we found the well inside there, and they were doing that ritual. It was one of those godstones.
Sounds like you stumbled onto quite an adventure, brother.
It was something I couldn't barely fathom.
Where do we stand now then? Do we focus on rescuing Sister? I would think that would be the priority right now.
I agree. We just need to load.
Yes, we must.
We need to try and figure out where she is, and perhaps we could ask the favor of my new allies to help us locate her at least, and then we could go from there.
I know that we just got here. We need accommodations. Do you have accommodations already?
We could find accommodations easily. I kind of am running low on money, I think, at this point, and I want to try and experiment with something before the dinner is over, and I'm going to pull out a silver piece because I don't think I have actual gold though.
Shao, did we bring brothers bars?
We didn't bring any bars for Cade because we didn't know, but I brought 10, 5 each for you and for me. And that's enough, I think, to do whatever we needed to do here to sustain us for a while till we figure out what we got to do. So and I give Cade 3 of my 5.
Hold on to them, brother.
I give Shao 1 of my 5.
Hold on to the bars. We don't need to be passing silver bars around the table just yet. But I pull out a silver piece and I hold it in my hand, and I'm going to focus on my magic, and I want to try and see if I can multiply what I have in my hand.
Well,
what?
You have material magic level 2.
Yeah.
Which allows for minor manipulation of material items, subtle changes in physical properties.
Did you get my message?
Are you spending your experience on material magic?
Yep.
God damn it. All right. You have material magic level 3, which allows for enhancing or altering material items or physical properties. So, it's not quite enough for you to Jesus power this silver and just make it manifold.
Yeah.
However, it is enough for you to try turning this silver into gold.
Okay. Let's do that.
So let's
attempt it.
This is new, so it's an effect.
Yes,
that means
it
that
is.
your difficulty goes up to 12.
Okay.
And depending on how many steps over that difficulty rating is going to be the degree of
degrees
the success. So in other words, how pure this is. So
right.
Go ahead and make your roll. Yeah.
Will it turn back into silver after we're gone?
That depends on
that
how
would
many
be
steps.
Fucking hilarious.
That depends on how many steps over. So if he's high, if his steps over are high enough, then no. But to make it permanent, he's got to rack up a lot of successes.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and make your roll, and it may be the kind of thing where you have to do it multiple times. Where you're incrementally changing the physical properties of the item. So my question is, do you want to do this on a coin or do you want to do it on a silver bar?
I'm going to do it on a coin. I'm experimenting right now.
Okay. Go ahead and make your roll.
All right, that's going to be 7 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go. Big money, 17. Big money, big money.
So you're 2 steps over the goal.
Hey.
So you are able to turn this coin into gold for 10 minutes. And that is going to cost you 6 kwa.
Okay, 6 kwa.
Now, if you want to make this an extended roll, continue to focus on this coin and invest more kwa and make another roll. If you rack up enough cumulative successes, you can make it into gold permanently.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you see, so like the brothers see Cade, they see the coin in his hand turn gold, but he's continuing to sweat and focus. 2,
Indeed,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, I gotta take a picture of that. 25, my good sir.
Wow. You have a gold coin.
That is amazing.
And minus off 6 kwa.
Another 6 kwa. Got it. That's 12 done. Uh-huh. Got it.
How have you done this, brother?
Your powers are limitless.
That was more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
I would expect so, brother. This is amazing. This changes everything for the family.
How greedy ass.
I have the Midas touch, brothers.
But I need a Lamborghini, guys.
So you're continuing with your feast. You're talking about all this stuff. You switch to the mind link for privacy. A couple hours go by. It's middle of the afternoon. What do you want to do now?
Mm-hmm. My new allies, and we could maybe get some information on Sister. Did you guys have anything you want to do in town before we do that, or later?
I would love to establish getting our silver bars evaluated and seeing if we can change it into a common currency that we can maybe manipulate later on.
So
perhaps,
Cade, you know that the crown is the government that rules the island of Kamamet.
Yes.
And you know that basically the crown divides up their administrative holdings between the north and the south of the island. the seat of power in the north is Sacura, and there are three noble houses. You have met one of the representatives of House Eriksson. And you know that the crown also manages the Bank of Kamamet.
Yeah. My brothers, I did speak with a representative of the government here of Saslam. There's three noble houses that reside here, and there's more in one of the southern larger cities. I did speak with him about perhaps establishing a trade with Tizia. Perhaps we could bring the silver to him to show him the fruits of our labors, and that it's worth investing in that trade route.
Okay. My goal is to get a ship for us, and then whatever means we need to get to Sister. So let's do whatever we need to do this.
Cade, it also occurs to you that your brothers have never seen a map of Nisia.
That's right. That is right. Could I have purchased one and showed that to them?
No, but you know where you could see a
look
map.
At one?
Yeah.
Right.
You recall Durant going to the temple, and that they have that whole study room, and so you could look at a map as well.
Okay. Brothers, I believe we should get our bearings first. I've seen a map of the region, and I think you all should see one as well, and maybe we could get a copy or buy one somewhere too. But let's travel to this temple, and I will show you.
Okay.
You guys walk again through the city. You walk kind of more towards the north and center of the city, and you see that the quality of the buildings in this area is a lot, more consistently higher quality craftsmanship, stone and wood, but very well built, very sturdy looking. And you come upon a large white building with a domed roof. The doors are open. You see people leaving. You see people going in. And you enter this temple, and you see depictions of gods, and you see offerings, and it's very different from a Sacuran temple. But there's a quiet, calm, kind of solemn mood in the temple. You make your way over to one of the priests. You ask if you can go to the study. They lead you there. You see other people reading at tables. You see basically a whole library, effectively. You see some other priests actually literally illustrating books and writing books, copying books. You go over to some shelves where there are many scrolls, and you see a map. And you take the map off the shelf and unroll it on a table. And Shao and Cho, for the first time, you see Nisia.
Oh, wow.
And you begin to grasp just how far away you were. As you look and see Tizia in kind of the southeast corner of the region, and you find yourself here in Kamamet, in the northern port city of Sassalam. And as your eyes drift across this map, you see just north of where you are the island of Amron, where your father's holdings are.
Look there. There's Amron.
We traveled far from Tizia to get to Kamamet.
But it only took
That's
us moments.
Amazing.
I can get used to travel like that, brothers.
I point out the island of Koat Bogom. That's where the pirate kleptocracy is.
And you did mention that there were Admirals?
Yes, there's I forget how many, but there are.
Captain Elysia told you what she knew.
Yeah.
And what she knew was that the admirals are basically the rulers of Kuop Vogam. And to her knowledge, there were 7 admirals. So each admiral has their own fleet of ships.
Yeah.
She mentioned one of them because you, in your spirit journey, when you came across the sunken ship, right?
Yeah.
You were able to kind of discuss that with her, and one of the admirals that she mentioned, who was a founder of the organization, was Admiral Guanzu, and he is a Sacuran.
Yes.
She said that she thought that there were a couple admirals who were Sacurans and a few that were from Arakazine, but she wasn't sure of the whole organization.
Yeah. I explained that. There's seems to be 7 admirals, and they each have their own fleet. At least 2 of them, I think, are Sacuran, and one of them is Admiral Guanzu. And the second, well, I don't know his name from my my captain friend. She did know that he was called the Red Tide. While he was younger and newer to the admirals, he was quite the vicious one. It's Guanzu, not Wanzu.
Guanzu.
Oh, gee. Yeah. So,
do you feel that we can use this since they are Sacuran to our advantage? Or do you think this is a lost cause for us to even attempt to communicate with these?
I personally think there's the scourge of this area. The only reason they don't attack some places is if they pay a tithe. They take what they want. They are in opposition of the government of Commonep. They're pirates. I don't think they're worth allying with unless you have an argument that would make that favorable for us.
Who is the head of the serpent?
There is no head. It's a kleptocracy. Each admiral has their own fleet and their own power, and they vote on things. From what I've been told,
one falls, they still stand.
Exactly.
Damn.
Well, now that we have information about the map and we can get our bearings, let's establish our mining operation here and get exchange where we can get the monetary funds to get a ship to get the sister, and whatever that will take. Talk to whomever we need to talk to help us achieve this goal. And
yes,
we still have no idea what's going on with Father.
We don't.
He was behind us in the travels.
Perhaps we could use. I don't have the magic, but it seems one of you or both of you have the magic to connect mentally. That perhaps you could reach out to Father.
I will try when I meditate in the morning. My mind is quite tired right now.
I will try when I'm not almost out of qua.
That was one way of saying it.
You got plenty of qua.
I was trying to role play, Bill.
You got plenty of qua.
So, to the matter of accommodations and lodging.
Yes.
Cade, you well know that the Slow Deer has those nice little cozy Sacuran dorm rooms, basically, that you could stay at. There's not a lot of security here, but if you were looking to do something with your bars of silver, there's also the bank, which is insured by the crown, and there is one of those banks in this city. I
speak over the.
I'm sorry. There's one more huge thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
you may have forgotten, but in the course of the previous days, also recall that you actually, with the help of Captain Elysia, you had made arrangements to go to Amron.
That's right. I did forget about that.
And that Captain Bjorn, who is the captain who sails under House Eriksson, that the Gray Owl would be heading to Amron
in a few days.
Was actually a few days before. So I'm going to say that the Gray Owl is heading to Amron tomorrow.
Okay.
If you wanted to pursue that route.
I will bring that up to my brothers, and I'll also bring up. So, brothers, before I and my allies defeated that wizard, I had actually booked a passage to Amron on a ship under a Captain Bjorn, and then all the other things happened. We could still go to Amron by ship and find out what's there. There's also a bank here managed by that is ran by the crown, where we could take those silver bars, or we could talk to the representative of one of the houses. It just depends on what we want to do.
These people at the bank, do you trust them?
It's a government bank run by the crown. I think it would be pretty cut and dry if we wanted to exchange our bars for coins.
But I want market value. I don't want to be lowballed.
I don't have much information on the market value.
Let's have the conversation.
But this brings up another point. You saw what I did. I could focus. If we wanted more money, we could focus and turn some of these bars into gold. Or attempted, at least.
If it does not wear you down, it would be well worth the attempt.
It would cost me, but I don't believe we'll be running into any epic battles today. I pray.
But we do set sail tomorrow, brother. Will you be recovered by then?
I will be recovered tomorrow.
Well, Matt, understood. Let's do it. Yeah, buddy.
Let's
So we're gonna blue book this. You have a good chunk of hours while it's still daylight and even into the early evening.
Yes.
You could do a bunch of kind of like little things that you might want to do before, if you are indeed taking the boat tomorrow.
Yeah.
You could certainly do that, like converting silver bars into gold bars, for example.
Yeah.
Or wandering around the city looking for thieves and assassins guilds, or getting into street fights because you know kung fu. All of those are things that you could do. So I'll take each one of you in turn. Think for a moment about what you'd like to do. Cade, if you're going to try the silver to gold conversion, that is what I'm going to do. It is something that you could certainly do again. It's still in effect.
Yes.
You're going to have to practice this multiple times before you make it a spell.
That's one reason I'm doing it.
But you have accumulated some successes so far. So do you want to get private rooms here at the Slow Deer Tavern?
Yes, private rooms.
So you give them a coin, a gold coin.
Yeah.
That covers your accommodations. You go up into the rooms with Shao and Cho, and you begin trying to do work on converting a bar. So one target at a time. You're going to make another roll. Tell me what the result is.
Okay.
Base difficulty you're looking for is 12.
16.
Okay. That's 2 successes. You need to do it again. Do you have enough qua?
So that was another 6, correct?
Yes.
So that I have 22 qua left. So I have enough to try.
Make another
Here
roll.
we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 20.
Okay. You have converted 1 silver bar.
Okay.
So now that is worth 100 gold.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
would you like to convert another bar?
Yes, sir. Let me mark down more qua. So that's 22 minus 6, 16.
Are we in the room with him, or are we in our
Yeah.
different rooms?
So you guys are watching as your brother concentrates again. You see him muttering to himself. There's it's almost as if the wording that he's trying to use, he's just trying different phrases. You get the sense that he's trying these different phrases, these words, and it's taking a long time, but he finishes this first bar after about 10 minutes, and he sets it aside, and then he takes another silver bar and begins concentrating.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 20.
Okay, another bar is converted.
Okay.
Wow.
Do you want to try for 3?
Yep, this is probably the last one I'm gonna do today. Okay, balance off my qua, and here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 14 on this one.
So that one turns gold for like 10 minutes.
Okay, fuck it. I'm gonna invest my last qua.
Okay.
One more.
Gambling.
That's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 21.
So you have successfully converted 3 silver bars into 3 gold bars. Each of these gold bars is worth 100 gold.
Wow.
And Cade looks spent as well.
Yes. As it stands, what is your plan regarding banking? Are you intending to carry around silver and gold bars with you, or would you like to convert one of those into coins? What do you want to do? Either way, you have to go to a bank to do that.
Yeah. Brothers, I think we should convert some of these into coins for ourselves, and then perhaps take the rest of the silver as evidence to the noble houses to try and leverage a trade route to Tizia.
Agreed.
What does it cost to commandeer a ship or whatever, or do we wait for
I think
talk to
if
your
we-
friends first?
I think if we establish the trade route, the house is going to take care of the ship that's going to be going back and forth to Tizia.
Okay.
If we want a ship for ourselves, we would need to go find a captain that would accommodate our request.
Okay.
To go if we're going to go somewhere else.
Okay.
Or we could still travel to Amron tomorrow
That works.
by ship.
Let's do so.
But I still think we should ask our allies to help us locate Sister before we can no longer reach them.
Let's establish the banking stuff first, and then head to them. Yeah. I'll lead.
Okay.
I'll let you lead.
So you guys go to the Crown Bank. You go in, you meet with one of the bankers. He seems very enthusiastic. He explains to you that you can deposit to open up an account, and that you can designate who has access to that account.
Yes.
And he tells you that the signatures that you provide on the account listing, at any time that you want to withdraw from that, the people withdrawing would have to sign, and their signatures have to match the original signatures of the people who opened the accounts, of the depositors. He explains to you that you need to maintain, in order to have an account, you need to maintain a minimum balance of 50 gold.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, that's not cheap.
So he asks if you would like to open an account.
I think we do.
Okay, I'm going to put one of you in charge of keeping this note. So you're going to deposit one of the gold bars to open your account.
Okay.
So you have 100 gold in your balance.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can deposit more, but basically that's the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah. We could split the other two into coins and split that amongst ourselves. That way we each have some pocket change.
Is the common currency gold here,
No,
or
it's
gold and
silver.
silver? It's silver.
Gold is rare. So you guys walk in there like a bunch of pimps with your gold bars. They like everything. All business is transacted in silver, unless it's like huge business, like ships.
Yeah.
Basically, that's you know.
Yeah.
But most day-to-day business is conducted in silver.
Right.
Okay. Since we brought 10 silver bars.
Yes.
Now we
Three are
have
gold now.
3. Now we have down to 7 because now we're three in gold.
Right.
I'd like to deposit 2 gold bars
Okay.
and then cash out 1 bar for gold and then 1 bar for silver. And the rest we can use for whatever we need to establish our trade route, whatever that's going to entitle, whatever fees we got to pay, and however this is going to work out.
So then here's the split on that. You have 200 golds deposited in the bank. Then you have basically 33 gold each in coins. So each one of you should note that on your sheet.
Okay.
And then you said 1 silver too as well. So 33 silver as well.
Yes.
33 gold and 33 silver.
Yes. So that takes care of your gold and 1 of your 7 silver bars. So now you still have 6 bars of silver that you could bring with you for whatever purposes you want to establish your, as proof of your mining operation.
Is this enough, Bill, monetary wise, to actually be able to function within this part of the world? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I mean, like, we could do 1 more silver, but that's.
It's up to you. If you want to do that, that's fine.
Yeah, if silver is the main currency,
let's do that.
you probably need more than
Let's do
33
that.
pieces.
So we're gonna get 66 each then.
Okay.
66 silver each, 33 gold. Okay. That's quite a bit. And then we have 5 remaining silver bars.
And Bill, what's the conversion of gold to silver? Like, how many gold pieces
10.
is worth a silver piece? So it's 10.
10 silver per gold.
Got it. 10 silver per gold.
Yep.
Okay. You do this. It's getting pretty close to dusk, and the bank is closing up. You guys signed the contract, the signature card part, and your bank account is now established.
As we were walking through town all day, basically off and on a little bit, I was looking around for any signs of markings that would indicate Assassin's Guild's potential.
I like that. Time for another roll, Cho.
Yes,
Roll
baby.
Make your perception plus stealth roll.
Stealth.
12.
You don't see anything that looks familiar to you from a Sacuran perspective. But at one point when you were walking, not in the banking, like not in the noble district, like where the bank and the temple and that stuff is, but like when you were kind of walking around town with your brother, you did notice like a small crew of like 4 dudes hanging out in the big market plaza. And they weren't selling anything. Like, they didn't have a stall for like street vendors, but they were just kind of hanging out. And all 4 of them had a similar tattoo on their hands. And it looked basically like 3 snakes meeting up in the middle. Like sort of like an S, another S, and another S, like in a circle where the heads were meeting up in the middle.
Make a mental note.
All right, it is evening. You said that you wanted to reach out to your friends, Cade, to see if they could help you with locating your sister.
Yes.
Okay.
I looked for Humphrey and perhaps Durant. I'm not sure who would be best suited.
You feel like Humphrey's abilities with finding your brothers and his knowledge of spatial magic are probably the best bet.
Yeah, but is it after 9 o'clock?
No, I'll say it's like 7. So you
okay.
So you go to yeah. So you feel like you're okay, like you're not gonna wake up Humphrey.
Yeah.
You return to the Oak Grove Inn.
Yeah.
And you enter. The innkeeper looks at you for a moment. You mention that you're going to see Master Humblebottom.
Yes.
And you go up, and as you're going upstairs, you see Humphrey actually walking down the stairs towards you, and he's wearing like actual clothes. He's not just wearing like a robe now.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's got some new clothes on. They're well fitted. And he sees you on the stairwell down, and he says, your timing is impeccable. I was just going to go have dinner downstairs in the dining room, but is there something that you needed?
Well, something we could discuss over dinner, of course.
Let's do that. I could use a drink. So you guys go out of the dining room. He's seated at this booth, and you guys are seated with him. Drinks and food start coming out. The meal is in progress. Drinks are good. Cho and Shao, this is more like the Iraqi food that you guys came to know as you lived on Tizia. But it's not bad. It's good quality food. It's just it doesn't have as much flavor as the Sacuran food that you're used to. But you guys are well into the meal, so he says, "What can I help you with?"
Well, Humphrey, we've taken care of some business today and thought out what we may want to do. But one of the things that we're still trying to find out or get a clue to is the whereabouts of our sister. And as you saw in my memory that she was taken away, I would humbly ask that if you could help us locate her if she is still alive.
Of course. I forgive me for not even thinking of offering that before. He says, if I may intrude on your minds again.
You may.
If I can collectively gather your mental impressions of your sister, it may help to make the search for her easier.
Whatever you require.
He takes a big goblet of wine. He drinks a huge gulp of it. He sets it down, and then he closes his eyes. And you, as he's kind of probing your memories of your sister, he's gathering kind of these flashes, and you guys are seeing this in your own minds, like your memories of your sister back home, of her, playing in the gardens and, walking her to school and just having family dinners and all these and like celebrations and like being out at night with the moon and seeing fireworks, for the celebration of the equinox. Like all these different memories flash in your minds. And then I roll for him. He says, I can't find her. He says, I have as many clear impressions through your memories as I would have of anyone. But it's like she's not here.
You mean she's not alive?
He says, I don't know. He says, I'm sorry. The degree to which my magic is strongest is that of spatial magic and mental magic and material magic and energetic magic, to be humble. But spiritual magic is not something that I possess in great power. He says Riff and Durant possess greater knowledge of spiritual magic than I do.
Would I be able to aid him in lending my spiritual magic?
Good question. What is your level of spiritual magic?
It's 2.
No. However,
Okay. I tried.
yes. However, he says, I wonder.
Perhaps. I do have an idea.
Speak.
Perhaps you could try and locate the ring that she was in possession of, that we saw in that past memory.
Was she in possession of it, or was the Karsh in possession of it?
Well, he had both, my sister and the ring that we saw in the memory.
That would be going back to previous memory, right?
He says, let me try looping Riff in on this. His knowledge of spiritual magic is strong.
Yes.
So, literally, in the blink of a mind's eye, the party line is expanded to Riff. And Riff's like, oh, hey, Cade and Humphrey and
Hi,
other
Riff.
guys who I haven't met.
Hello.
How is it going? What can I help you with? And Humphrey briefly describes that he would like to tap into Riff's knowledge of spirit to see if that perhaps could be a way to find Li Mei.
Now, since these guys, all our minds are connected, can these
Yes.
powerful wizards like have insight into the power that I behold, even though I don't know?
They could. If you allow that.
While we're in our group session, I will say, I believe that I was able to establish this link, this connection. I don't know how I did it, but I believe that there is something inside me. And if you can utilize my gift to reach a wider area, perhaps you can utilize me in that way.
Humphrey says, you are strong in mental magic, perhaps even stronger than you realize. He says, perhaps even as strong as I am. No, that's not possible. I am the greatest wizard in this world.
Jesus.
He says, in time, you could be as great as me. In time. He says, Riff, lend us the favor of your spiritual knowledge. And
Please.
mentally, because Riff is not physically there.
Yeah.
Riff says, okay, I mean, it's for a good cause. Upai Visei Hoof. Upai Visei Hoof, you who are the one true God, I ask a noble favor that you help find the sister of these brothers, if she lives or if she dwells in the spirit. Please guide us to finding her location. And after a few moments, Riff says, mentally, can't find her spirit, and I don't know what that means in this land, in this world. I don't know if that means she's moved on to some kind of afterlife, or if there's something preventing me from finding her spirit.
Perhaps there's a mental or spiritual block on her being. I'm not sure.
Humphrey says, if there was any kind of ward or something to prevent us from finding her, it would have to have been created by a powerful wizard. Because, as I mentioned before, I am the greatest wizard in this land. So, maybe what we'll do is Riff and I will try to refocus our quad and do this again tomorrow to see if there's a way that we could find her. And if we do, perhaps we would just reach out to you and let you know when we found her.
That would be much appreciated.
Of course. And don't forget, when you do establish this trading route with your silver and all that stuff, remember that, you know, your allies, we'd be happy to help facilitate some of that stuff as well. I mean, after all, I do need to figure out a way to construct an immense wizard's tower and an academy for magic, which is one of my life goals. And if I'm not mistaken, Durant really does want to establish a temple to Savak Boku. So maybe we can help each other out. Who knows? But I think we'll be in Sassuolo for a little while, because I really do like having a bath and clean clothes and an actual bed to sleep in. It's really been wonderful.
I had a question.
Of course.
Them looking into our pasts and adventures and all that stuff that we've done.
Yes.
Did they pick up on the person with the eagle that we met through the eagle?
No, because you weren't thinking about that. You were focusing on your sister. So the memories that they were looking for were the ones related to Li Mei.
Would it be possible, because when he said that she's can't be found, I felt that maybe there's somebody else that might be able to help us, and I kind of like pictured in my mind that person, because they're looking for that object, whatever that object was. Do we remember or recall?
I don't remember that guy's name.
Well, the object is what I'm concerned about, and what kind of
eagle.
Object that was.
Yes.
White eagle.
Yes.
Yeah.
White eagle. Yes. Yeah.
That was a deep cut right there, boy. It took me a
I
second
couldn't
to
remember
that.
I remember it was
Go way
eagle
back into
something,
the
and I
archives.
remember he said an eagle, but I was like, white eagle? Okay.
I completely forgot about White Eagle.
Yeah, because we took on the mission to try to find that artifact for him.
Yeah. And we never contacted him again after that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened after
Some
that.
things happened.
Right now,
Yeah,
there might be one in 10,000 subscribers who will be able to put together the deep level lore that you just dug up.
That we just brought up.
the multi-season, multi-show lore that you just dug up.
Yes, sir.
I vaguely remember White Eagle as well from like the old seasons.
Yeah. So basically Humphrey concludes that to the best of his abilities, which he rolled a 21, and the best of Rift's abilities, who rolled a 22, that
my God,
your sister is either dead, or dead and her spirit passed on, or somehow is hidden from spiritual, spatial, and mental magic.
Wow. That's a lot.
I have a meta question.
Yes.
I don't know how to do this yet, but can't I detect mental magic?
Yes.
Be right back.
I don't know how I would even explore that opportunity until I know better about myself.
You just think of it.
I just think of it.
That's called an effect. When it's not a spell and it's something you want to try to do.
And then I have to practice it and...
Yes.
Right, gotcha. I want to... As we're all still in this deep conversation and we're all mentally connected, I want to think about my sister. I want to think about the last time we saw her on the ship when we were attacked, the whole events of that day, the frickin' surfer, all of it, right? And I want to see if I can reach her mind.
Go ahead and make a roll.
Don't forget what we can do with the rebirth mark if you roll like shit.
21.
21 is pretty good.
Still not good enough if they couldn't reach her with a 21 or a 22. Can I with that roll, can I feel any remnants of her soul, of some blockage, of some outside force that is preventing us? Because if I can determine that an outside force is keeping us out, then we have half of the problem solved. She lives. If I can't figure it out, then we're ass out. We don't know what's going on.
We're trying hard.
Would my monk abilities be able to assist Cho?
Spending all the quad in the first session.
Shao Zhen, I just sent you a message. Cho, your mental discipline is superb. However, and you just killed it on your roll. You can't detect anything about your sister from that type of magic. Nor could Riff and Humphrey, in combination, detect anything about your sister with mental or spiritual magic.
Yeah, I'd like to, is there a way to see things that haven't happened yet that perhaps can tell us what things were in the past?
You have temporal magic? What level?
Sorry, what was that again?
Do you have temporal magic?
I'm looking. Where would I find that?
So you have temporal magic level 3.
Yes, I see it now.
So if you wanted to divine, basically it's divination. You can try to predict in the same way that your martial arts, when you use your temporal magic to predict your opponent's moves before they happen, you could try to look into the future to see what possible events might happen. But you have to have a focused question about what it is that you're trying to know about the future.
Okay. Is that something that I could attempt here? What would I need to roll?
Before you roll, you would have to tell me, what do you want to know?
I would like to know that if everybody's trying to find out if sister's alive or dead. So that's the 50-50 question. I want to see if there's any events in the future that is she's in, eating, drinking, any of those small things, those minute things that you would normally not even consider looking for in the future. But if she's eating and drinking or anything like that
with her brothers,
or having, conversations or anything like that, that's what I want to pick up on. If that would help eliminate the 50-50 question.
Okay. Cade, do you actually say what you just said over the mic?
If he's like bringing up this questioning, this line of questioning, then I would bring it up. Perhaps you could predict the future, brother.
You want to know if in the future, if your sister is doing mundane activities that would indicate she's alive, right? Eating, drinking.
Correct.
And if you, the brothers, would meet up with her.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to make a willpower plus magic roll, so that's 6 dice.
Okay.
And the base difficulty is a 12 because this is an effect. You're literally bending reality to do your will.
I got a 19.
Ooh, oh.
Oh. Yes.
16, 18. Oh. All right, that is a success with 3 steps over. So you get a flash. Actually, no, I'm sorry. You don't get a flash because your line of inquiry was sort of multiple questions. You don't see images. I want to be clear about this. You're not seeing the future as if you see an actual like video. You know what I'm saying? What you're getting is probabilities in your mind. The first thing is, yes, in the future, your sister will be drinking and eating food and doing other mundane activities that people who are alive do. The other thing that you think of related to whether or not you and your brothers will see your sister in the future, you think that it is very probable that you will see your sister in the future. Now, when, how far into the future, that part is cloudy. You don't know. But your instinct is that it's not necessarily soon.
Okay.
Your sense of time is strong. Strong enough where, like, if you were blindfolded and led to a cave and knocked unconscious, when you awoke, if you concentrated, you could probably figure out what time of day it was. That's the degree to which your sense of time is strong due to your magic.
Okay.
But it is cloudy as to when you will see your sister. But those things, as you successfully cast this spell, which by the way cost you 6 qua,
Yep.
those things become clear to you. Do you share that over the mic?
Yes, I do, through our mind melt connection. I think, brothers, that I have felt the presence of our sister in the near future, and I see us interacting with her at some point. So I'm very happy and that we will see her and she is alive. So whatever we can do to figure out how to get to wherever we might think that she is, we might be able to get to her a lot sooner than
Perhaps tomorrow we could reconvene and try and locate her one more time, and maybe you could help combine your abilities with Master Humphrey and Riff and have a greater degree of success in locating our sister.
What if the 4 of us all attempt together? Is that a thing? Can we combine our powers?
Of course.
You have seen this done now with Humphrey and you guys, and with Riff, and Riff isn't even there. So you are fairly certain that there are ways to combine your magic.
We will try again, and we will find her, brothers.
Well, this is great news and great outcome of events and information today. So I'm ready to celebrate this.
And celebrate you do. As you finish a sumptuous feast with Humphrey, you finish drinks. At the end of your great meal and drinks, the server comes over with a bill, and Humphrey pulls out several stacks of gold coins and says, "This should cover our meal, and make sure that you provide tips to the kitchen staff, and basically just give a coin to everyone who works here, and then keep 5 of those gold coins for yourself." And you see, like, the server's like, "Thank you so much," and like bows and walks away. And Humphrey's like, "Yet another benefit of being the greatest wizard in this entire world. I could just make gold here. It's incredible. That gold that I just gave her, like an hour ago, that was a piece of wood that I found in the alley. Now it's just gold. It's wonderful."
You need to teach. You should teach me those ways. I've been trying to master such magic.
Anytime. After you get all your family affairs in order, come back. He's like, maybe you can be one of the first pupils at Humphrey's Wizard's Tower and Emporium. I haven't really come up with a full name for it yet, but I'm working on it. He says, but the time is near for bed. So gentlemen, I wish you all the best in your endeavors. If Riff and I and Durant are able to locate your sister, I'll reach out to you. And he taps his head. He says,
Yeah.
but otherwise, safe travels, best of luck, and hopefully we'll see each other again soon. And he stands up and walks out. Around this time, you guys have eaten. You're very full. You've also had drinks. And you're getting a little sleepy, knowing that you have to be at the harbor at dawn in order to take the ship to Amron. You head back to the Slow Deer. You go to your rooms, and you see that they're pretty much closing up the dining room for the night. But as you're getting back to the rooms, you get yourself situated. You lay down on your cots, which are very familiar in the style of a Sacuran bed. Very simple.
Can we get a private room?
But comfortable. Yeah. So you guys get one of the 2 private rooms, and you've got cots in there and places to put all of your stuff. So you settle in for the night, and you fall asleep. And the next morning, you wake up, gather all of your things, and you head down to the harbor. Shao and Cho, as you walk out of the city gates and start descending the stone stairs, you see there's a winding road, like a gravel road that goes up the hill for carts, but then there's also stairs for people walking. You guys start walking on this great 20-foot wide stone stairway that leads down to the docks.
Wow.
And as you're at the top of this hill looking out over the docks and over the harbor, you are just blown away. You see 20 long docks with dozens of boats, like small fishing boats, sailing boats. Out in the harbor, you see a half dozen ships of different size. And this is the largest harbor that you've seen since you left Sacura. And even though the sun is just rising, you see people already working. And you get down to the main walkway of the docks, and Cade, you're heading towards the Gray Owl, the ship that Captain Bjorn is going to use to take you. And you see him down at the end of one of the far sides of the docks. And Cade, you see amongst all the many fishermen and workers and people loading ships, you actually see a couple of Nizak, and you point them out to your brothers. And Shao and Cho, you see these Nizak who your brother points out to you. They are 6 foot tall, just ectomorphic, tall and thin, but very sinewy, ripped. Totally gray skin, totally hairless, with large prominent foreheads and large lower jaws that extend out. And you see these dudes are lifting up these heavy crates and just walking up the gangplanks and loading them onto ships. And then you see other workers where 4 guys have to work together to lift the same size crate. So you're just wow, you just see these guys working. As you're making your way, down the docks, you also notice, actually, I don't know if you would notice this. All of you guys go ahead and make perception plus social manipulation rolls.
Perception, social, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I got an 8.
Got a 10.
17.
That's perfect.
Damn.
So the 2 of you who didn't get a 12, you're just making your way. Cade, you're focused on getting to the boat. And Shao, you're looking at the Nizak and all the people and all the busy stuff going around in this huge, docks area. Cho, as you're walking, you see a few of those guys with the hand tattoos. And they're standing over by a medium-sized ship that's being unloaded. But what strikes you is that they're all standing around watching these laborers unload this ship, and there's somebody standing a full 1.5 feet above them. Not only is he tall, but he is the biggest humanoid you've ever seen. So you see a 7.5 foot tall human with kind of like pale skin, no hair, but he's not a Nizak. And how you know that is because his skin is pale but not gray, but he is corpulent. He is fat, like 7.5 feet tall, 600 pounds, just rolls of blubber, just and he's wearing like a vest, and it looks like the vest is basically like a tablecloth that was like cut for 2 armholes, and he's got like some breeches on that are kind of just tied with rope, but other than that he's not really wearing a lot.
Now, in my experience, does he look like hired muscle? Does he look like hired muscle?
You're not sure if he's actually human. Oh. You notice that, like, even though it's kind of damp in the morning, you know, there's a little bit of fog in the harbor, his skin is wet, like just sweat, beads of sweat running down his head and his neck and his arms. Like, he just looks damp. And you're kind of looking at him from the side, so you can't really see his face. But one thing you notice is that not on his hand, but on his arm, he has that same 3 snake tattoo. And he's just kind of standing with the other crew of the 5 guys, watching this boat be unloaded.
Are they close enough for me to go over and try to have a conversation with them while we're all doing our business here?
They're about 50 feet away, but you could walk over there.
I'll walk over very casually and very unassuming and very almost timid. I'll act like I'm subservient.
Do we notice him walking?
You do.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep an eye on Cho. Doesn't feel right to me.
I tail, but
you
behind.
see one of the normal-looking Iraqi people, like, turn and see you walking towards them, and you see him lean up towards the fat guy, like, and he goes like this. He like whispers something, and you see the fat guy turn around and look at you. And it is at this point, when he turns around and looks at you, you notice that his eyes are red, like all red. Like, there's no white, it's just red, solid red. And you see him kind of squint while he's looking at you.
I'm going to start
behind Cho.
I'm going to start kind of acting like I'm a little drunk.
Okay.
Like I'm, you know, just in case I'm not welcome, I'll have a playoff.
We got all our Quabec, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. Let me add that back.
The guy who noticed you walks about 5 feet towards you as you're getting closer. So you're about 15 feet away. He walks towards you. Now all of them are looking at you, including the big guy. He looks at you guys and he says, "Sacurans, eh? What do you want?"
Hello, friend.
This is our turf.
Oh, I was just going to inquire who runs this fine dock area here.
That'd be the harbor master. His shack's over there, and he points like across the harbor to a single-story wooden building.
I look back at him and I say, "Oh, I noticed you all have matching tattoos. Are you some kind of a gang or something?"
He says, "Yeah, we're some kind of a gang."
I used to have a gang once upon a time. It was quite a while ago.
You notice the other 4 dudes all put their hands on their blades. They don't pull them out, but they put their hands down by their blades. The big guy just is continuing to just look at the 3 of you.
Okay, so while I'm faking this conversation with this guy, I'm checking them out, their weapons, seeing what type of posture they hold, to see if any of it would be recognizable as an assassin or as anything that I've encountered.
So 2 of them have short swords. 2 of them have hand axes. The guy that you're talking to has 2 daggers. but the big guy has no weapons and no armor.
I kind of tug the guy that I'm standing next to. Hey, who's the big guy? Is that the hired muscle?
He says no, that's the boss. That's Sarno.
Oh, the leader of your gang.
He said you must be new around here.
I am. I just stepped off the boat, as it were.
He says, so you're not with the gang anymore, huh?
Well, they're still around somewhere. I lost track with them a while ago. I've always been on the search for people like me.
You see the guy look back over his shoulder at the big guy, and the big guy says, for the first time he says something, and in this low, giant voice, he says, check them. And you see the little guy turn and he says, show me your arms.
My
Lift
arms?
up your sleeves and show me your arms. Okay. He looks at your arms. Cade, Shao, do you guys show your sleeves?
Sure, but I also activate Ghost Sight.
Okay.
I activate Wazoo Sentinel and a couple others because this is gonna go down pretty quick.
Doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to, but I'm more gonna be prepared.
So before you activate those, I'll note that you're ready for that, but I'm not gonna have you make a roll yet.
Yeah,
You show your sleeves. You guys don't. Your mark of rebirth is somewhere on your chest, and it might wrap around your shoulders or go down your torso.
Yeah, mine does.
When you show your sleeves and your forearms are barren, you see the giant guy just nod, and then he turns back to look at the boat, and the guy says, "Okay, you can go."
Well, go. I thought we were just having fun here.
He says, "Well, we're kind of busy. We're unloading this ship."
Perhaps a drink later. Or perhaps now.
He says, "Oh, all right. Well," he says, "Tell you what. If you maybe want to have a drink, we usually hang out at the Messy Lantern."
The Messy Lantern. I have noted it. I don't know if I've seen it yet, but I'm sure that I'll be able to find it. A drink's a drink, and I can probably smell my way there, if you know what I mean.
He says, "Yeah, well, that's usually where we settle down for the night."
I'll let you get back to it. I just wanted to say hello. You looked familiar from a distance, but now that I'm next to you, you don't look familiar at all.
Right. Have a good day.
You as well. I stumble back to my brothers.
Okay, so
That was interesting.
The one guy watches you as you leave the dock and head towards the other dock, and then after a couple minutes he turns back to what they were doing, which is literally just watching this boat be unloaded. Yes, Cade.
I still want to put Ghost Sight on and look at that big dude.
Okay.
I want to do something also.
You have never seen or actually heard of one of these people.
Yeah.
So you're not sure what he is.
Mm-hmm.
When you activate Ghost Sight, there's nothing inherently magical that you sense about him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I roll?
You don't really pick up anything specific about him.
Should I roll for the spell?
No.
Okay.
You could just minus off Qua for it, but
okay.
There's nothing inherently magical about him, nor do you sense any spiritual magic resonating with him.
Okay.
I want to enter his mind and talk to him, the big dude.
How much does Ghost Sight cost? I don't have it listed.
That's a good question. Let me see. I think it's 5 because you were standing right there.
Right.
Okay, so Cho, you want to enter his mind and talk to him.
It's the only thing I know how to do, and I think I want to have a little fun with him.
Okay. Go ahead and make a roll. Willpower plus magic.
20.
I can have a brain aneurysm.
That is more than adequate. You enter his mind easily.
And I say this. Be careful who you run with. They are watching you, and now I am watching you.
As you're walking away, like you're on the other dock, like you're like 150 feet away, and you notice that he like does this and he like looks around.
That was worth the qua, baby.
Fair enough. All right, minus off 6 qua.
Yeah.
So as you guys make it down to the dock, you see a gangplank, and you see not a big ship, okay? Like in the scale of things, it's not a huge ship. It's somewhere between, it's like a cog, basically. It's kind of between the size of a sailboat and a caravel. But you see that this guy who Cade identifies as Captain Bjorn, you see he and his men are loading some stuff. They're just finishing up. And when you walk up, he recognizes you, Cade, and he says, "Oh, I wasn't sure if you were going to be here." And he looks at your brothers and he says, "2 more, huh?"
Perhaps.
He says, "Well, we can make room if that's what you want to do."
I turned to my brothers because I kind of wanted to discuss it last night. Do we want to go to Amron now, or should we still stay here and figure some things out?
Any way to look at the map again and see the correlation between Amron and our final destination?
So
Sure.
Amron would be your final destination. So it's
Oh, that's where we're going. I'm sorry. I
yeah.
apologize.
So it's about from where you are from Sasalem to make port in Amron would be about 75 miles. So in good tides and good weather, that's something you can do in a day.
Okay. Did we also, and is the mind link still up between the brothers?
No, you'd have to reestablish that.
Okay. Well, I lean into the brothers and say, were we trying to establish whether we can pinpoint Sister's location with the help of Humphrey and Riff?
Yeah, you can't. Humphrey basically told you that he and Humphrey couldn't find your sister. That they will continue to try each day.
Okay, they were gonna try. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought
they're not gonna just discover that.
Could it possibly be a proximity thing? Is that even
So you don't have a strong grasp of spatial magic, but you know that has an impact on it.
Well, Amron would be a good spot to start because we would see also if Father has reached the destination.
We also didn't really try to get like the trade route thing going, for Tizia. That was
we
also
need to
a
do
thing.
that as well.
We wouldn't be able to leave right now if we wanted to do that.
Well, if you're trying to figure time, it would, in good weather, it would take about 12 hours to get from Sasalem to Amron.
Okay.
So I mean, basically the better part of a day, and then whatever you do on Amron, and then if you travel back to Sasalem, that's another 12 hours. So you're, you have things to do. You have multiple things you want to do. Trying to get trade route established is not going to be like a sit down and one meeting thing. Like that,
Sure.
you're going to have to meet with noble families who are interested in doing that kind of business.
Yeah.
The right noble families who do shipping. There's a lot more involved in that.
Yeah.
Whereas Amron you could get to in a day.
Could we show them the silver, show a couple of the head nobles, some of the people that kind of make decisions, show them the silver, advise them that we want to discuss trade route options upon our return, and then head to, would we be able to do that within the time? No, we're leaving in the morning, right? It's either we leave in the morning or we stay.
You're either getting on this boat or you're waiting another week to see if you could find somebody else to take you there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Perhaps we should
Let's get on the boat.
First.
Sister's the priority, I think.
Yeah, we could at least maybe establish contact with Father, because he was supposed to follow a little while after we left, so he should actually be there.
Correct.
Let's do that.
We could mind link with him, can't we?
We haven't tried. We could try.
You've
I mean,
never
he's
tried.
definitely we wouldn't even have to travel to Emron. We can find out that he's made it safe and he's already looked into our affairs. Let him know that everybody's good, and then we can still continue to get our foot in with the trade stuff here.
Yeah.
In Cecilum, and then
Perhaps
maybe on
we
his
could try
end he
that.
can help us out too.
Maybe we could try
Those
that
are
right
all
now.
things that you could try on the
Let's do
next episode of My Adventure. Thanks as always to everyone for liking and subscribing, and we'll see you find out what the brothers Zhen get up to in the next episode. Peace out. Happy gaming.
Well, hello, and welcome to Bill Allen World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you were just watching, and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that, because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.